The plane smelled like lavender wipes and new leather. Passengers shuffled past first class with tired eyes and coffee breath. A few looked back when they heard it. "Sir, this section is for premium guests only." The voice came sharp from the front. A white flight attendant in her mid-30s stood stiff near seat 1A. Her name tag read, Rachel. Marcus Langston looked up from his phone, clean-cut, confident, dressed in a tailored navy suit. He didn't blink, just smiled slightly, and handed over his boarding pass. 1A, he said calmly. Rachel frowned as she scanned it. Her lips tightened. She didn't scan again. "Sir, I think you're mistaken. This is a first-class section." "I know," Marcus replied. "That's my seat." Her eyes swept his face, then his skin, then his shoes. Her voice dropped low, but her words hit hard. "Sir, I'll have to ask you to step aside. This area is reserved." Passengers nearby paused. Some turned. One pulled out a phone. "I showed you my boarding pass," Marcus said evenly. Rachel didn't move. She didn't even check her tablet. "You'll need to head to coach. If you don't comply, I'll have to notify the captain." "Notify him," Marcus said, still seated. Now more passengers were watching. A man in seat 2C tilted his head. Another began recording. Someone whispered, "Is this really happening?" Rachel leaned in, her tone sharper. "Sir, I won't ask again." Marcus slowly reached into his blazer and pulled out his ID. "Boarding pass, seat 1A, government-issued ID. I paid 3 weeks ago." She didn't even glance. A white businessman 2 rows back chuckled. Maybe he booked on the wrong app. Rachel tapped her radio. "We've got a seat issue in first." Marcus sighed quietly, then unlocked his phone. No argument, no raised voice, no drama. Just a single, calm text to someone unknown. "Activate it." Marcus hated attention. He wasn't loud, didn't flash watches, didn't show off like others in boardrooms. He believed real power spoke low, not loud. Earlier that morning, he left his Chicago penthouse quietly. The driver had been waiting with the black Lincoln. "You flying private this time, sir?" the man asked with a grin. Marcus smiled. "Commercial. Helps me remember how the rest of the world is treated." In the back seat, his assistant had handed him a leather folder. "All the data's in here," she said. "If the contract signs today, the platform goes live within weeks." He nodded. This wasn't just business. It was a civil rights data engine, a system designed to track racial bias in real time. In banks, schools, airports. It was personal. As the plane boarded, he'd noticed something. 4 white men in first class, 2 women in high heels. Not one of them was stopped. They were smiled at, offered wine before takeoff. Then came his turn. He hadn't been surprised, only tired. He remembered what his mentor once told him. Power never begs. It waits. So he waited. Now, seated under cold stares and tightened lips, Marcus kept calm. The woman in seat 3B gave him a look of sympathy. The man in 2A just scoffed and went back to his tablet. He opened his briefcase slowly. Inside, everything was ready. But not for this. This wasn't the moment to argue. It was the moment to remind people how quickly tables turn when truth walks in with a suit and a memory. Outside, the terminal board blinked. Flight 447. Boarding closed in 5 minutes. Inside seat 1A, Marcus's eyes didn't blink. He was done asking to be seen. Rachel didn't wait for approval. She waved over another attendant. Blonde, younger, same stiff posture. Jessica, he's refusing to move from a premium seat. Jessica looked down at Marcus like he was furniture that didn't belong in the lobby. Do you need me to get the captain? Marcus didn't flinch. I'm still waiting for you to verify my seat. Jessica nodded like she already had the answer. Let's just call security. Passengers were listening now. A man in 4B raised his phone. A teenage girl across the aisle whispered to her friend, "Why won't they just check his ticket?" Rachel pressed the radio button harder this time. Seat conflict. Passenger non-compliant. Immediate assistance requested. Marcus kept his voice even. Your system knows my seat. Your tablet can confirm it. Jessica's mouth curved into something fake. These things glitch sometimes. Happens when people book through discount apps. From row 2, a white man leaned over. Buddy, just head to the back. No need to make a scene. Marcus didn't respond. He simply placed his ID, his printed boarding pass, and his platinum travel card on the tray table. Rachel looked for a half second, then dismissed it. Anyone can print this. Doesn't prove anything. Someone 2 rows back whispered, This feels off. A woman in 3B, mid-40s, business attire, spoke louder now. Why don't you just scan his pass? Rachel stiffened. Ma'am, please don't interfere with flight crew operations. Security arrived. 2 airport officers, 1 male, 1 female. Calm but alert. What's the situation? The male officer asked. Rachel jumped in. Passenger won't move from a seat he didn't pay for. The officer turned to Marcus. Sir, can we see your documents? Marcus handed them over without a word. The officer examined everything slowly. First class, seat 1A, all matches. Rachel stepped forward. He's manipulating the system. Silence. Even the other passengers now stared at her. The word manipulating echoed like a slap. Marcus didn't argue. He simply picked up his phone, opened the camera, and hit record. For the record, this is Flight 447. I have all documents for this seat, and I am being publicly harassed without verification. Rachel snapped, Turn that off. Marcus said only one thing. This is documentation, not disruption. The security officer looked uneasy. He'd seen this go wrong before. Sir, can I ask you to step off the aircraft, just for a moment, to verify everything at the gate? Marcus looked him in the eye. Are you requesting or removing me? The officer paused. Requesting. Marcus nodded. Then I'll cooperate. He stood slowly. The room shifted with him. A hush settled over the front rows. He picked up his leather briefcase, calm as ever, and walked down the aisle. At the gate, passengers from other flights glanced up as the small group returned. Someone recognized him. Isn't that Marcus Langston? A man whispered. Marcus didn't react. He faced the gate agent, middle-aged, sharp suit, name tag, Janet Williams. Problem? She asked the officers. They want verification, Marcus said, before they could speak. Janet took the documents, scanning quickly. Her brow furrowed. Boarding pass, matching ID, platinum status card. Everything checked out. Still, she hesitated. There's some confusion with the crew. They say your behavior was confrontational. I remained seated, Marcus replied. I answered politely. I was recorded, in fact. He gestured toward the phones still raised inside the plane. Janet's voice lowered. You can either take your seat in coach, or take the next flight. And if I refuse both? Then we escalate further. Marcus smiled for the first time. He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a dark business card holder. He selected one, handed it to Janet. Her eyes scanned the embossed silver letters, Marcus Langston, CEO, Langston Technologies. She blinked, reread it, then froze. A nearby woman leaned over trying to see. A businessman behind her was already Googling. Langston Technologies? Wait, they're worth billions. Janet's hands began to tremble. The officer glanced between them. Marcus simply turned, looked back toward the plane, and said quietly, I believe you just asked a man who owns 22% of your airline to sit in coach. Janet gripped the business card like it was on fire. Mr. Langston, I had no idea. Marcus didn't let her finish. That's the problem. She opened her mouth, but her radio crackled before she could speak. Supervisor Williams, patch through to HQ immediately. Priority call from Atlantic Corporate. She stared at Marcus. You triggered that? Marcus didn't blink. You did. When your crew profiled me instead of verifying basic information. The terminal screen above them now showed Flight 447, delayed. Passengers murmured. Live streams continued. Skywatch 420's feed alone had crossed 2,000 viewers. Back inside the plane, the woman in seat 3B whispered, I think he owns part of the airline. The businessman in 2C checked his phone. His jaw dropped. Oh my God! Langston Technologies has a 22% stake in Atlantic Airways. That's when the captain stepped off the plane. Why haven't we departed? He barked. What's going on here? Janet looked like she'd aged 10 years in 5 minutes. Captain Rodriguez, she muttered. We may have made a mistake. Rodriguez turned to Marcus. You again? Marcus stepped forward calmly. Captain, I offered 3 verifications. You dismissed all of them. Rodriguez looked him over once more. Somehow, the hoodie and jeans didn't seem so casual anymore. They looked intentional. Who are you? He asked. Marcus didn't answer. His phone buzzed. He showed Janet the screen. Caller ID, Patricia Klein, CEO, Atlantic Airways. Her face drained. You might want to take that, Marcus said. The gate went quiet. Janet answered with trembling hands. This is Janet. The voice on the other end was clipped, direct. Is Marcus Langston standing with you? Janet looked at him. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Put him on. Now. Marcus took the phone. Hello, Patricia. Her voice was cold. What the hell is happening at Gate 29? Marcus's reply was calm, razor sharp. Racism. That's what's happening. And the internet's watching it live. Patricia's voice lowered, but her fury burned through the line. Marcus, tell me this isn't real. I wish I could, he replied. But your crew decided a black man in first class couldn't possibly belong. A pause. Jesus Christ! And now, more than 2,000 people are watching it live. He turned the phone so she could see the phones, the passengers, the officers, the delay screen blinking above their heads. Your stock has dropped 1.4% in the last hour, Marcus added. Janet looked like she might faint. What do you want? Patricia asked. I want accountability, and I want it now. She didn't argue. Go ahead. Marcus didn't raise his voice. Terminate Rachel and Captain Rodriguez. Issue a public apology for racial profiling. Fund a $1 million diversity reform program. Real training, not corporate fluff. And activate anonymous incident reporting across your system. You want all that now? No, Patricia, he said. I want it yesterday. But now will do. The crowd around him was silent, listening. Even the officers stood still. Inside the plane, Rachel stood at the galley, confused by the delay. Then her radio buzzed. Rachel, return to the gate immediately. She walked out to find Marcus, the captain, Janet, and the crowd. Janet cleared her throat, barely holding herself together. Rachel Mitchell, Captain Rodriguez, your service is being suspended, effective immediately. The captain looked stunned. Wait, what? Rachel's face twisted. You're firing us? Because of him? No, Marcus replied calmly, because of you. The crowd murmured. One woman clapped, then another. Soon, half the terminal applauded. Janet's voice cracked. Atlantic Airways will issue a formal apology within the hour. Marcus nodded. Make sure it reaches the same media outlets that reported your flight delays. Patricia's voice returned through the phone. Anything else? Yes, Marcus said, turning to face the crowd. This isn't about me. It's about the next black traveler who gets humiliated because of how they dress or where they sit. He locked eyes with Rachel. You judged me before you even looked at my name. Now the world knows yours. 3 weeks later, Marcus boarded another flight. Same airline, same route, same seat, 1A. But this time, something was different. As he stepped onto the plane, the new flight attendant, a young black man in a crisp Navy uniform, smiled with calm respect. Mr. Langston, welcome aboard. It's an honor to have you flying with us. No raised eyebrows, no second guesses, no hesitation. Marcus nodded once. Thank you. He sat down. No one questioned him. No one called security. No one whispered. He glanced around. First class was full. Different races, different ages, all treated the same. Outside, the gate screen quietly updated. Atlantic Airways. New protocol in effect. They called it the Langston Protocol. Mandatory racial bias training, anonymous reporting, and real-time disciplinary review. It was already being copied by 3 other airlines. Marcus opened his laptop. His assistant had sent the latest reports. Stock up 3.8%. Media coverage overwhelmingly positive. Thousands of passengers sending thank you messages. And one message stood out. A young black woman had written, I watched your story while sitting in an airport where they just made me recheck my ID for the 3rd time. I cried. But now, I know what to do. I won't stay quiet next time. Marcus leaned back, eyes on the clouds outside. It had started with humiliation, but ended with change. And this time, when the seatbelt light chimed off, no one looked twice at the man in 1A. A quiet voice from 3B spoke. Sir, thank you. What you did, it meant something. Marcus smiled without turning. It wasn't about being seen. He paused. It was about making sure the next person doesn't have to fight just to sit.